My name is Haley Monroe, and on my 39th birthday, my boyfriend of 3 years dumped me through a text message. This is the story of how my cheating ex lost everything, and all I had to do was watch. That was my birthday. The notification lit up my phone the second my friends raised their glasses to toast another year of my life. One moment, I was basking in the warm glow of birthday candles, the city skyline twinkling around us, laughter buzzing like static electricity in the air. The next, I was staring at my screen, reading the most ruthless breakup text in history. Adam, hey Haley, I found someone better. Younger, hotter. I transferred our money into my personal account. Felt fair since I made most of it anyway. No hard feelings. Enjoy your birthday. I blinked. Once. Twice. My eyes traced the words again, my stomach tightening, but not with the gut punch heartbreak Adam probably expected. No, this wasn't shock. This wasn't pain. This was confirmation. I inhaled slowly, the scent of vanilla frosting and the faint burn of champagne swirling in the air. Around me, my friends were caught in the golden haze of celebration, tipsy, happy, unaware. Claire clinked her glass against Ava's, giggling about something I wasn't listening to. Someone made a joke about how I was officially 1 year closer to cougar status. I barely heard them. Adam, my boyfriend of 3 years, had just dumped me in a goddamn text message on my birthday. And not just dumped me, robbed me. I should have felt humiliated. Instead, I smiled, a slow, sharp curve of my lips as I sat up a little straighter, my spine elongating like a queen taking her throne. My hands didn't shake. My breath didn't stutter. If anything, I felt lighter. Because Adam had no idea. For months, I had watched the signs, the late nights at work that made no sense. His phone always face down, like a guilty secret. The sudden budgeting concerns when he used to pay for dinner without a second thought. That bullshit suggestion to move our joint savings into an account under his name. Like I was some clueless idiot. I let him believe it, nodded along, acted sweet and agreeable while I quietly moved my share of the money into a private account, just enough at a time that he wouldn't notice. A game of inches. And now? Adam thought he had drained our savings. He thought he had wiped me out. In reality, he had just stolen from himself. I exhaled through my nose, a slow, measured breath. The phone screen still glowed in my hand, his arrogance staring back at me. Younger, hotter. Oh, Adam, you stupid, predictable little boy. I tapped out a response. Just one word. Congrats. Then I locked my phone and raised my glass. The champagne was crisp, cold, and tasted like victory. Because Adam had no idea. The thing about betrayal is that it's never sudden. It's a slow unraveling, a game of inches. Adam thought he was slick, thought I wouldn't notice the subtle shifts, the tiny inconsistencies stacking like dominoes, waiting to tip. I noticed everything. Red flag number 1, the late nights. It started with the overtime excuses. Work's been crazy, babe. Just one more meeting. You know how competitive real estate is. Except, here's the thing. Adam's company didn't require overtime. He was on salary. There was no hustle culture bullshit to justify these sudden late nights. And yet, he always came home smelling like hotel bar whiskey. At first, I played along, smiled, kissed his cheek, asked if he needed dinner, but I clocked the details. The slight slur in his voice, the lingering cologne that wasn't his, the way he suddenly stopped making eye contact when he said, I love you. Red flag number 2, the phone face-down syndrome. Before, Adam was glued to his phone, texting me, sending memes, oversharing like a teenager. Then, radio silence. His phone was always face down, always on Do Not Disturb. If I picked it up, he suddenly needed it immediately. Work stuff, babe. Sensitive info. Right, because his junior staff's emojis were definitely classified. Red flag number 3, the money shift. Adam used to be generous, almost too much. Dinners, weekend getaways, little surprises just because. Then, overnight, he became allergic to spending money. Maybe we should split dinner this time. Babe, do we really need to go out this weekend? Can you cover the groceries? I'm waiting on a commission check. I played dumb. I covered the small stuff. I let him think I wasn't watching. But when I checked our joint account, his Venmo payments were delayed. His personal account had business withdrawals that didn't make sense. He wasn't just saving money. He was stockpiling it. For what exactly? I already knew the answer. Red flag number 4, the let's move our money scam. Babe, we should consolidate our savings, he had said one evening, leaning against the kitchen counter, swirling his whiskey like some finance bro. Consolidate? I asked, pretending to be interested. Yeah, one account under my name. It'll be easier to manage. I bit my tongue to keep from laughing. Easier for who, Adam? I let him think he had me convinced, nodded, said I'd look into it. Then, the next day, I walked into my bank and secured my own damn money. Bit by bit, I moved my half into a separate account. Just enough over time that he wouldn't notice. I left enough behind to keep up appearances. Adam thought he had drained our savings. He had no idea he had just stolen from himself. At midnight, I pulled into my driveway, exhaling as the night air wrapped around me. The distant hum of city life lingered in the background. Horns, distant laughter, the occasional burst of music from a passing car. My apartment was mine. Adam's name was never on the lease. His laziness cost him everything. Babe, why do all that paperwork? You're way better at that stuff. Yeah, I was, which is why at 12:30 a.m., I was on the phone with my landlord. Hey, it's Haley. I need the locks changed first thing in the morning. No problem. You're the only one on the lease, Haley. Do whatever you need to. At 1 a.m., my phone buzzed. Hey, weird, my key isn't working. Let me in? I stared at the screen for a moment. Then I locked my phone and went to bed. By 8 a.m., I was wide awake, stretching in my bed like a cat that just won a fight it didn't even have to scratch for. The sun filtered through my curtains, soft and golden, the kind of morning that smelled like fresh coffee and new beginnings. A perfect day to burn my ex's world to the ground. I grabbed my phone, scrolled to my banking app, and tapped the call button. A crisp, professional voice answered. Thank you for calling Pacific Trust Bank. How can I assist you today? I smiled, the kind that didn't reach my eyes. Hi, I need to report fraudulent activity on my joint account. A brief pause. Then, what kind of fraudulent activity, ma'am? A significant withdrawal made without my permission. I also have written proof that the funds were taken maliciously. The customer service rep straightened up. I could hear it in her voice. Would you be able to provide documentation? I tapped my screen, forwarding Adam's smug, self-incriminating breakup text, the one where he confessed to stealing our money. It took exactly 47 minutes for Adam's personal account to be frozen for fraud investigation. I sipped my coffee, letting the warm bitterness settle on my tongue, imagining him waking up to find his funds locked, realizing he wasn't as clever as he thought. Meanwhile, Adam's victory lap, or so he thinks. While I was handling business, Adam was celebrating. How do I know? Because the moron posted about it. At 9:13 a.m., my phone buzzed with a message from Claire. Girl, check Adam's Insta. You're gonna want to see this. I clicked the link. There it was, a photo of Adam and Sophia wrapped around each other in a high-end hotel suite, floor-to-ceiling windows, a bed draped in white linens, a half-drunk bottle of champagne on the nightstand. The caption, "The glow-up is real. Out with the old, in with the new." The comments, damn, my guy upgraded from economy to first class. King behavior. Ripped to the ex. She must be crying, Ren. I tilted my head. Oh, Adam, you have no idea what's coming. 10 a.m., another call, another domino falls. I tapped my phone screen, dialing my credit card company. Hello, I'd like to report an unauthorized transaction. Of course, ma'am. Can you provide details? I already had the information pulled up. Yeah, a rental car booked under my card, except I didn't book it. I understand. Would you like to dispute the charge? I smiled. Not just dispute it, cancel it entirely. By noon, their flashy convertible was canceled, which meant that when Adam and Sophia stepped out of their five-star hotel at checkout, expecting to drive off into their new life, they found themselves standing on the curb, bags in hand, with no car waiting for them. Number 3 p.m., the final blow. By mid-afternoon, I imagined Adam still felt untouchable, until he and Sophia walked into the lobby of the Lux Grand Hotel, dragging their designer luggage, sun-kissed from a morning of lounging in luxury. They probably strolled up to the counter, all confidence and entitlement, expecting to check into their ocean view suite. The receptionist, a perfectly polite woman with a rehearsed smile, typed something into her system. Then her expression shifted. I'm sorry, sir, but your card was declined, and we had to release your reservation. I imagined the slow, creeping panic on Adam's face. The way Sophia's expression turned from smug to suspicious. No money, no car, no hotel. By 3:07 p.m., Adam was officially homeless. I placed my phone down on the table, watching the sunlight reflect off my untouched glass of champagne. Then I leaned back in my chair and smiled. By 3:30 p.m., Adam's world wasn't just falling apart. It was getting broadcasted in 4K resolution for the entire internet to enjoy. It started small. A few petty comments under his Instagram post. Damn bro, flexed too early. Imagine dumping your girl for an upgrade just to get downgraded to bankruptcy in 24 hours. Karma with express shipping. Then, someone screenshotted the post, and Twitter got a hold of it. Within minutes, Adam's so-called glow-up was making the rounds. Man thought he was a wolf, turns out he was the prey. The villain origin story wrote itself. My guy pulled a reverse Cinderella, lost the castle, the carriage, and the girl. The comments kept coming. Some were from people we knew, mutual friends who had been watching in silence, waiting for this exact moment. But the worst part? His boss saw it. 4:45 p.m. The call. My phone rang, and I knew exactly who it was before I even looked. I let it ring 3 times just to let him sweat. Then I answered, "Haley, you need to stop this." His voice was tight, controlled, but I could hear the panic bleeding through. I leaned back in my chair, letting the afternoon sun warm my face, twirling my coffee spoon between my fingers. "Stop what? You know exactly what." His breath came fast. "My bank account is frozen. My rental is canceled. Now HR is involved." I raised an eyebrow. "HR?" He exhaled sharply, like it physically pained him to say it. "Sophia is an intern, Haley. My company has a strict policy." I sipped my coffee slowly. Weird. Maybe you should call your bank." Silence. Then, through gritted teeth, "You think this is funny?" I let out a quiet chuckle. "No, Adam, I think it's overdue." And then I hung up, blocked his number, picked up my coffee again, and took another sip. By 9 a.m., I was still in bed, wrapped in the kind of sleep that only comes after delivering chef's kiss-level revenge. The air smelled like fresh linen and victory. Then, knock, knock, knock. I cracked one eye open. It wasn't a neighborly tap. It was authoritative, measured, final. I stretched, yawning, before rolling out of bed, barefoot, oversized sweater, unbothered. Another knock, harder this time. Through the peephole, a uniform. I sighed, then swung the door open. The officer and the trash bags. A cop, mid-40s, stern expression but not unfriendly. "Ms. Monroe?" I leaned against the doorframe, crossing my arms. "That's me." "Your ex-boyfriend, Adam Pierce, has filed a report against you for stolen property. He claims you've unlawfully kept belongings that belong to him." I almost laughed, almost. Instead, I stepped aside and gestured to the neatly stacked trash bags in the hallway. "Everything he left behind is right there. If he wants it, he can come get it himself." The officer's gaze flicked to the bags. Cheap sneakers, tangled charging cables, a sad collection of wrinkled designer shirts. For a long second, he just stared. Then, to my absolute delight, he smirked. "Sounds like a civil matter, not a criminal one. We'll be closing this complaint." Strike one for Adam. 9:05 a.m., the last word. Before he left, the officer glanced at me. "You want me to let him know?" I smiled sweetly. "No need. He'll figure it out." And with that, I shut the door. By 1 p.m., I was at my desk, enjoying the rare, quiet satisfaction of knowing my work here was almost done. The coffee in my hand was still hot, my inbox was under control, and Adam was about to have the worst day of his life. And then my phone rang. Unknown number. I tilted my head. Then, just for fun, I answered. "Haley?" I recognized the voice immediately. Sophia. I leaned back in my chair, savoring the moment. "Well, if it isn't Adam's glow-up, to what do I owe the pleasure?" She hesitated, the kind of silence that tasted like regret. I need to know." "How much of this did you plan?" I let out a quiet chuckle, swirling my coffee. "Let me ask you something, Sophia. Did Adam ever tell you why our savings account was in my name?" Silence. "Or whose credit card he used for your little vacation?" More silence. Then finally, in a bitter whisper, "No, he told me you were controlling. That you never let him have anything." I exhaled slowly, shaking my head. "And you believed him." She didn't reply, but she didn't hang up either. I imagined the pieces clicking into place. The hotel disaster, the frozen bank account, the no ride, no cash, no escape plan realization, the ugly, sinking truth. Adam wasn't some wronged man seeking freedom. He was a freeloader who had been using her the same way he had used me. I could hear it in her breathing. The moment she finally understood, then click. Sophia hung up. 3 p.m., Adam's final L. By the time Adam walked into HR, his fate had already been sealed. It wasn't just the fraternization policy that got him called in. No, HR had started digging. And guess what? Turns out Adam had been expensing his little side adventures as business meetings. Dinners, hotel stays, flights, corporate fraud. By 5 p.m., Adam was officially unemployed. I placed my phone face up on my desk, watching the notifications roll in. A text from Claire, guess who just got fired, Lowell? Another from Ava, Karma, 1010, no notes. I smiled, then went back to work. Because unlike Adam, I had a real job. It took a week for Adam to break. I figured he'd last longer, but there it was, his name flashing across my screen, blocked numbers, private calls. He tried it all. I ignored every single one, until finally I got curious. Just this once. I let the phone ring twice. Then I picked up. Silence. Then a slow, shallow breath. Not cocky, not angry, just hollow. You win. I leaned back on my couch, exhaling through my nose. The air smelled like fresh lavender and the warm hint of vanilla from my scented candle. A cozy Sunday evening, peaceful. Adam's voice, though, it was anything but peaceful. I smiled. No, Adam. I let the words settle, slow and sharp. You did this to yourself. Silence. I could picture him perfectly, hand in his hair, jaw clenched, sitting in whatever sad excuse for a temporary living situation he had left. And he knew. He knew I was right. That realization, that deep, ugly regret, that was mine to savor. I let the silence stretch a little longer. Then, click, I hung up, blocked his number, permanently. And just like that, Adam ceased to exist. A year later, my life looked nothing like it did when Adam walked out. Career? Skyrocketed. Turns out, when you remove a financial leech, your bank account thrives. Side business? Took off. Passive income? Love that for me. Love life? Upgraded. Actual love. Real. Steady. Travel everywhere. Paris, Santorini, Kyoto. My passport was working overtime, and most importantly, I was happy. Unbothered, completely and utterly free. But life has a funny way of wrapping up loose ends. The wedding. The venue was gorgeous. An open-air garden lit with golden fairy lights, the scent of fresh roses weaving through the cool evening breeze, laughter, music, clinking glasses. I almost didn't come, but something told me this was going to be worth it. And then, across the room, there he was, Adam, but not the Adam I remembered. This Adam was different, hair unkempt, cheap, wrinkled suit, nursing a beer alone, a far cry from the man who once flexed about his glow-up. I felt his gaze settle on me, a moment of recognition, of realization, and then like clockwork, he approached. The last conversation. You look good. I took a slow sip of my champagne. I know. He swallowed, shifting awkwardly. Guess you heard about everything. I tilted my head as if I had to think about it. Yep, his throat bobbed. His grip tightened around his glass. You're happy about it, aren't you? I exhaled, setting my drink down. No, Adam. My voice was smooth, steady. I don't think about you enough to be happy or unhappy. His face fell, the weight of regret, heavy, suffocating, settling into his bones. He hesitated. Then, voice barely above a whisper. I messed up, huh? I smirked. Yeah, you did. Then, without another word, I turned away, back to my date, my life, my true upgrade. And Adam? He just watched me walk away, the same way he once did. Only this time, I never looked back.